Welcome to Lynn's Warriors, where truth is our weapon and hope is our mission. And today we're honored to welcome back to the Warriors Dr. Bethany Marshall, an acclaimed psychoanalyst and a marriage and family therapist and best-selling author, and whose insight into relations, marriages, trauma, pain, uh, healing, everything we talk about on the Warriors is so necessary. And I just love when she's able, she's so busy with her practice, to join me on the Warriors to break things down. All of her information will be in the body of this video. Understand she holds these dual doctorates, PhD. Oh, you have so many things going on here. Psychoanalysis, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist, private practices, everybody out on the West Coast, Beverly Hills and Santa Barbara. That's okay. We're very grassroots here at the Warriors, and you're busy. I understand this. The clients are calling. But you are seen on all major networks as a commentator with what we talk about. Everything from MSNBC to Fox, and certainly I met you, and let's give her a shout out, Crime Stories with Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace.
When I heard the way you talk, Bethany, I was just like, you know what? I need Dr. Bethany to explain things like trauma, victimization, and today what we're going to be talking about, a little bit of this toxic culture I'm hearing thrown at me about males, about boys, and what's going on with that. So the website, everybody sit back. The information, again, will be in the body of the video. You can take your time and read, find out how to order Dr. Bethany's book. But let's get to it. Welcome, Dr. Bethany Marshall, back to the Warriors. DrBethanyMarshall.com is the website.
Thank you, Lynn, for having me. I so appreciate the work you do. You do so much good for society, and we need more people like you.
Thank you, but I need you to be able to break down with your expertise. I'm always like a broken record about trauma. What does that mean? What is the mindset of a victim? And I picked out a couple of things I was thinking about. I'm hearing a lot. I don't know why, Dr. Bethany. Meetings I'm going to, boys are toxic. It's like all of a sudden, we've talked about masculinity and toxic in the past, but I feel like right now they're just throwing this label onto boys and young men. I don't know if you've heard anything about this. I'm not escaping it, but it's very negative to just put that onto the boys, that label.
Tell me more about it. Like, who's saying it?
I'm hearing it in meetings in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
I'm hearing it. We work a lot with big tech platforms, so a lot of the meetings are about keeping kids safe online, right? And a lot of those meetings, they'll say, well, there's that toxic male culture online. Now, I will say that we've had this spate of shootings lately, and in getting a little bit of information we get from that, a lot of these males have been online, right? They've been involved with Reddit. They've been involved in the gaming. And there's something called Incels. Have you heard of this? The online rage groups. Well, it changed meaning. Incel used to mean one thing, and now they refer to incels as online rage groups. The bottom line here is
I thought it was men who couldn't, or young men who couldn't find a sexual partner.
Yes,
so now they hate women. But
that is actually the meaning.
Okay.
But it's grown. It's grown to be online rage groups. So just take that. They hate women, they hate girls, they can't relate. So now they're online and they're full of rage about all of this.
Okay.
What do you think? Like, where did this come from? Why do we think they're pushing this all of a sudden? Why would we label? And we do. I mean, the Tate brothers, which we have never in media even spoken much about the Tate brothers. Now, those were real toxic men, right? But I really am a broken record to say a lot of the meetings, well, our males are toxic now. I find it very offensive. We've got to dig into this. What does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you provide some label for an entire group or race, it's kind of like xenophobia, because you're black, white, brown, whatever, you're a bad person. From a psychoanalytic viewpoint, Freud once said, in order for there to be a God, there also has to be a devil. In other words, that we human beings have a tendency to put some people on a pedestal and then kick other people to the bottom. And the basic idea is that if we find a chip or a fault line or some point of hatred between us and another group, it makes us feel better. We always want to self-aggrandize, all of us. We want to feel whole and healthy and smart and all of that. And to assign a whole group or class of people, in this case the male gender, that there's something wrong with them or that they're toxic, it allows the other side to feel good about themselves. But like, who's the other side? Are these mental health experts? Are these policymakers? I mean,
All of
who?
them. That's
All
what I'm
of them.
saying. I'm hearing it all of a sudden. Like all of a sudden, it's almost like a cheat sheet went out. This is the bullet point. It is policymakers. It is healthcare professionals. It is also people from big tech, which I find very suspicious if everybody all of a sudden is saying, well, our males are toxic. As opposed to,
And
I
is
like
it
to try,
males overage or is it just underage males? Like
they'll say boys and young men, boys and young men. So
oh,
boys.
it's not us. It's not me as a 35-year-old or 45-year-old person having power over my wife or partner. It's those boys down there. It's like
Yes.
it's like a form of othering, I think.
What does that
Othering
mean?
is well,
Explain that for our warriors listening, because they may not understand what othering means.
othering is when you assign a race, a class, a socioeconomic group, an ethnic group, as if they are like an other person that are strangers to you. And if you make them strangers and you dissociate from the reality of who they are as people, then you can be hateful to them, or you can assign them whatever label you want, or you can just not even think of them as real people. Like we think back to slavery, if you other the people who are enslaved by you, you don't have to think about the harm that you're causing them. So we human beings tend to other all the time. But now I'm wondering, Lynn, if what you're talking about, because this is so new to me, in terms of this, toxic masculinity, but boys under the age of 18, young men and boys, if it's another form of othering, we're just going to slap a label on them.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of. In your
Hmm.
professional opinion, Dr. Bethany, what do you think boys face today? Let's talk about it. We live in this overwhelming culture, this society. There's so much. It's like people report to me, it's like getting hit over the head with a hammer every day. There's just so much going on in our country right now, around the world too, but focus on our country.
I think
What's your
historically,
take?
yeah, historically, men and boys have come into this world in a power position.
Mhm.
And it is what it is. It's cultural. Men have testosterone that creates more aggression. They tend to be up on the power hierarchy. But now they're being told after the Me Too movement, which was a great movement, that now they cannot, have sex without consent. They cannot predate, which are really great ideas, but nobody has taught them how to pursue a woman or a man or another partner, get consent, and form a successful relationship. It's very confusing. Everything is up for grabs right now. We Lynn, we all relate to others out of our roles. I think. I mean, I'm a psychoanalyst, and I hold that in the back of my mind. It's not like I'm analyzing people when I talk to them, but it's my identity. I'm a cisgender white woman. My parents were missionaries. I have a certain type of education. I relate out of that perception of myself, for better or for worse. These boys they don't have any identification. They don't have
Yes.
something out of which they can relate that keeps them grounded in a sense of self. And I think that's really difficult for them.
Yes, I was going to say to you, I think they're searching for identity today, which
Yes.
you just mentioned. But I have to talk about the internet a little bit, because
Yes.
that is where most boys, young men, all of us, we'll talk about the kids right now.
Mhm.
Um, our newest study says 9 to 12 hours a day, Dr. Bethany. They're spending, I don't understand how everybody's sleeping or going to school or eating or doing anything, even with the 9 hours on the low end. I mean, that is an incredible amount of time. And we know what's going on there. They are fed and there are studies to back all of this up. The dangerous algorithms, the companies are about profit, right?
Yes.
And so pornography is filling up feeds. They're not even looking for it. They can be on their third click looking for something, and they're put in, it just comes on. And the brains just stare at it, and then they keep looking at more. We have so many cases like this cyberbullying, such intensity. What can you share about all of that other than we live in a digital world? We're not getting rid of the internet. We're facing AI. We're in it right now, artificial intelligence. But I'm really concerned about our boys and young men because I don't think enough people are talking about it. And I want them to talk about it. I don't want them to have a label. What are we going to do about all this?
I think, first of all, to understand that we're all dopamine chasers, meaning if something makes us feel good, we're going to keep repeating that behavior. So if you put highly sexualized content in front of young boys or young men, they're going to chase that content. I mean, I have to say the content I chase is cross-species friendships. I love to see horses with kitties and ducks with kittens and all of that, but that's my dopamine hit. So I keep going back, and
I got to remember that for your birthday card. I find a card that has.
I have this favorite one where a mother duck, takes, mothers an abandoned kitten, and the kitten rides around on his back. But even as I'm talking about it, you can see it makes me happy. It gives me a dopamine hit. Yeah. So if you're going to funnel content towards boys and girls where there's pornography and it's stimulating, they're going to chase that. And in fact, it's interesting because one of the definitions of child abuse, which I really love this nuanced definition, is stimulating a child to feel feelings that they cannot yet handle. So we see this with sexual abuse, predation upon children, is that the abuser actually stimulates the child to feel like, oh, I want to be liked by this adult, or I'm having this feeling I don't understand. But the child doesn't really know how to process that. So I think in terms of being a little nuanced here, but in terms of what you're talking about, the algorithms are predating on young men. It's the algorithm and the people behind them, the people, who are, I don't know, engineering the algorithms. And it's a
You're so kind the way you say that. Look.
It's a form of child abuse.
It's a child
that, it's easy to yank the school teacher who is, having sex with a minor out of the school, if that does happen. But what about the person who designs the algorithm that pushes that content to kids? Does that person get prosecuted? I mean, it's crazy.
Well, hopefully that's coming because the big tech platforms have been allowed since 1996 to operate under something called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which basically said, that's almost 30 years ago, Dr. Bethany. We had two platforms then. That was it. You're a billboard, you're a newsstand. So you're not responsible for third-party content. But this section, so you're just a newsstand. So anybody can put anything. Now, fast forward almost 30 years, we've seen the greatness of the internet, right? But also the flip side. There's always good, bad, right? They just come together. Of
course, there's both sides.
And that Section 230 has never been amended. There is action in Congress right now to sunset it. But there's also action in Congress, which I don't know if excited's the right word. So they don't have to, there is no accountability. They could just say, we're not responsible because they have Section 230. It seems like a no-brainer that we should be getting rid of this Section 230 or at least amending it somehow to put some accountability on the big tech companies designing this product. But there is a movement now to treat big tech as a product, right? And therefore, we can create change. So we're working on a lot of that in Washington, which I think is really good because we cannot let what's going on with our kids and destroying lives and destroying minds and having kids spend up to 12 hours a day, in front of a screen. No good can come from that. But I also want to ask you, Dr. Bethany, really everywhere we look at the warriors, whether it's social media, I put that in quotes, music, schools, boys are being told, and I have a lot of warriors that report to me that they're the problem. They're actually being told, well, you're the problem, boys. So how are we going to change that development? This is a big problem and question I have for you, because I don't know how it landed all of a sudden. I want to say in the last 3 to 6 months where I'm hearing this nonstop, boys are the problem.
Okay, so I love, do you know the FLDS cult? Do you
Yeah.
remember? We covered that on Nancy Grace back in
Yeah.
the day. It was Warren Jeffs. He, it's like a branch of Mormonism. They went way out into the desert in Utah. They founded this big cult. He founded the cult. They lived off of social security, welfare. He encouraged them to have more and more children so
I
he
remember.
could get the, okay, remember all of that. So what I thought was interesting is that you have this power hierarchy, and this relates to hopefully to what you're asking me, where you have Warren Jeffs and these older male abusers that recruit women to subjugate other women, who then subjugate the boys, where the boys are told that as soon as they reach 18, they have to marry a 12-year-old. And it's actually the hierarchical structure that turns these young boys into a predator, although they wouldn't have been one otherwise. Okay. So if we hold that in the back of our mind as sort of a model, we as a society are treating gender differences in such a way that boys are encouraged to have power over women, and then they're maligned for it. So I just think they're in a no-win situation. Does that make sense what I'm saying? It's
It
like
makes perfect sense. I want our warriors to understand, because I have been actually this week getting some questions from them about this. And
okay.
their sons actually reporting to them, oh, I've been told we're the problem. That's very disturbing to me, that a 13-year-old can come home. I'm glad they're talking to their mother, about these things.
We're the
That's the first thing.
problem.
We want to have open and honest communication with kids. But that really disturbs me. I'm seeing it like heating up and moving really across the United States. I don't like it. I don't know where it comes from, except it tells me further deterioration of growing up, getting married, having kids, really tearing down. And I thought, Dr. Bethany, now correct me if I thought we're supposed to be encouraging and empower our kids and educating them and making them into the best adults we can help them get there and be. So I'm not understanding all of a sudden how this is being thrown on society. And when I'm mentioning to people that I think, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, boys are the problem. I'm like, what?
Well, isn't it convenient for adults to say the boys are the problem? I mean, who taught the boys, right? I mean,
Well,
we
exactly.
we tend to always want a repository to project our own guilt for whatever we've done in our lives. What about their fathers and mothers saying, wow, we perpetuated a double standard between girls and boys, and we encouraged our boys to have power over women or younger people. Uh, we're going to take that back. We're not going to do that anymore because these boys are just innocent victims of what we've set up in society. But to take it from the macro to the micro, because I know I'm talking more philosophically here, a parent's job with boys is just to socialize them, amongst feed them and all of that, and educate them, but to socialize them about what it means to be in relationships. And where they learn primarily is the relationship with the parent. Whatever that attachment system is like, they're going to recreate that in their other attachment systems. So to say that the boys are toxic, well, who had the first and primary relationship with them? They're just emulating what that relationship was. So maybe the question is, how are we raising children? What are we setting them up to do? And what are we telling them about how they should be?
And we've certainly covered enough, as I like to call him, dirty ditty degenerate.
Yes.
And I'm very worried being here in New York City. We have a lot of family dynamics. There's not a male in the household. There's not a father figure. But they
Yes.
look at somebody like a Diddy who appears to have, wealth and power and influence and women, and they emulate that. And that is not a good role model. And then I'm even going to throw this in, and just follow me on this one. All week long in the media, I'm hearing and people writing to me about Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, you know.
Oh, yes.
And this is another one. I'm digressing a bit. It's not exactly a great role model who talks about, what he's doing to women. And this
Mm.
is so the boys have been thrown just into all of this. And I think it's our duty as adults to break it down for them and talk to them. How are we going to do that though? Because I have
Well, so,
constantly
so
parents.
what did Bad Bunny say? Because I saw the whole controversy, but I didn't
Yeah.
ever hear the
So
lyrics. Do you know?
here, yeah, of course I know. Yeah. Bad Bunny's been around a while. It's not like he just got
Right,
here, Bad Bunny.
right, right.
He's been around, I want to say a good 3 to 4 years now, I'm gonna say,
Mm-hmm,
in the music world. He does all of his lyrics in Spanish,
mm-hmm,
um, and very sexual. And
mm-hmm.
dance moves are very sexual, and women are objects. We've seen all this, right? And we've
Yeah,
certainly seen Super Bowl shows, J Lo without her pants on. Like we've seen these things over the
yeah.
years, right? I'm always like, are these the only costumes? Not being a prude, just like, can you think of a new costume? It seems like all the women who sing now just wear tights. They don't have any kind of glitzy gowns or, they're just wearing those tights,
And
right?
by the way,
So,
I have them in my practice, and they criticize other women. Oh, I remember this one celebrity said to me, I saw Miley Cyrus and she turned around and she looked like she had chicken legs. Didn't her team tell her to like work out before she put that outfit on? And it wasn't like the outfit was too small. It was like she has chicken legs. But this was from another celebrity who was a performer. So that's just what they do. Did you see with J Lo with her outfits? I don't even know how to describe this, with the little leotard, the whatever things, that they're getting higher and higher and higher, and that it's almost like she doesn't have clothes on anymore. It's
but
anyway.
that's what
I
we're
digress.
no, no, but we're seeing, and again, it's not about you and me being prudes or anything like that, because we're
Hmm.
not. It's about, I just saw Kim Kardashian, all the fashion shows going on in Paris, and
Hmm.
she has a little trench coat on with nothing under it, with her breasts just. And so this is what our girls are seeing, or this is what our boys are seeing, and think
What
that's,
about
that's
Bianca Sensori, right?
well, she just doesn't wear any clothes, so we don't have to. She just,
Exactly. We don't even
she's
have to parse words about that.
now. Why is that? Why is she allowed to walk into a restaurant in LA or something with like a pair of shoes on, but no clothes? I don't want to sit in that chair after her. I mean, why?
Because our
Why?
society objectifies women, and then when boys are coming into their sexuality, to like close the loop, we blame them instead of our society. Our society does this, not the boys we're raising. They're our newer next generation. They're following after us in whatever way, or trying not to, but we're the ones pushing the content to them that overstimulates them and turns them into the people that we blame them for being. It's a societal problem. It's not a boy problem.
I know, but I want you to have all the answers for me so I can shut this down, because I don't. Where will this be in 5 years? See, I'm always about the next gig, as I like to say. Where will this be? These even 15-year-old boys now who will be 20 then.
Okay,
Where are we
I'll give you
heading
the
with it?
concrete answers. Concretely, have dinner with your child every night. Okay, there's a big Catholic study many years ago
Yeah.
that determined that in families where parents have dinner with kids at least 4 or 5 nights a week, that there are lower rates of teen pregnancy,
Yes.
drug abuse, all of that, depression, psychiatric problems, and higher earnings and educational levels over the lifespan for those kids. So have dinner with your kid every night. Have the kind of relationship where they can be honest and you can process what they are seeing and hearing during the day. Limit their access to screens. This is such a
Yeah.
huge problem I see in my practice, that parents just give up and the kids are addicted and the parents feel helpless. Use whatever resources possible, and then follow your boy's biggest passion. That's how you raise good children. Is he passionate about science? Does he build an ant farm? Does he have a kind of movie he likes? What is the passion? Build on that, because if he keeps watching screens, it's going to hijack the part of the brain that teaches him that he's learning new and interesting things in the world. That'll close his neural pathways into very rigidified patterns, and he's not going to expand into the person he needs to be. So, I say to some of my families, have a rule that when everybody comes home at the end of the day, have a big basket by the front door. Everybody puts their iPads, computers, whatever in that basket, and they're not turned on until they go to school the next day. And then you talk about your interests, you tell stories. It's sort of old fashioned, but that's really the way to do it, is to connect with your child.
Yes, the most excellent advice. We're going to leave it at that point. We have so much more to talk about, and we will. So promise me you'll come back. I know you're incredibly busy, but I don't care. I want to have
Mhm.
you to break these things down, and you really hit the nail on the head. It's about spending time, and there's really nothing new, Dr. Bethany, under the sun. I was thinking about this today,
There's no new
except
stories.
and we just have the internet, so we have to. It's not going away. Deal with it in our homes, in our communities. And really, everything you said is just spending time talking,
Mhm,
to
mhm.
kids. And I also want to throw in, we love reading books, reading
Oh,
out
yeah.
loud, even with kids that are teenagers. They read a chapter, you read a chapter, maybe it's just two chapters a night. But there are also studies that show that also improves. It's not even, it is the reading, but it's also just being together kind of
So
thing.
my
There's a brand new
my
study. I got to
favorite
send
book.
it to you about that.
So I grew up in Africa. My parents were missionaries, but we read all of Little House on the Prairie when I was growing up. My
Really?
parents would read it, we would read it, and it introduced me to the idea of writing, because it was it Laura Ingalls who wrote those books, was this incredible writer who lived out on the prairie, and now I'm a writer. So that inspired me,
Really?
just reading those books. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want you to
So
know
yeah,
I was a producer. I was a producer on the road tour. We never brought it to Broadway, Little House on the Prairie, but we did a
yes,
road tour all throughout the United States. And I want to get back on that. I just contacted somebody about that because
you
Dr.
should.
Bethany, we had
Amazing.
grandmothers, mothers, they were bringing their books to get signed. It was like a multi-generational
That's
attraction
right.
of thing.
That's right.
That's another story for another time, but
Okay, next time.
there's really something to that. Well, the website
Yeah,
is drbethanymarshall.com. We're going to have your book Deal Breakers, links all about you so people can take their time and study. Promise me you'll come back again
I would love
because your wit no, but seriously, your wisdom, I depend on you to keep me calm, number one, number one. Uh your
Lynn and I
clap
are on the
no,
same shows every day, and she's the
yeah.
fiery one, and I'm just because
No,
she's
you're
in the
very
trenches. You're in the
you're
trenches, Lynn. So
No, but
you see it all.
you keep me calm. I like that clarity. You have compassion also, which is so special to me. I recognize that. And you're reminding us that our boys and young men, they are not broken. But it's
No,
actually, I want to say, it's society breaking this
side.
down. And we're going to do our job to provide information and to help people understand this. And there's a lot of hope. And you're sitting right there, Dr. Bethany Marshall. Promise me you will come back again soon. And I thank you. And
Thanks
I'll
for
be
inviting
seeing
me.
you soon. No, and I'll see
Okay.
you soon. Thanks, Dr.
Bye.
Bethany. Talk soon.
Bye. Bye.